Okay. So we welcome all of you. I see Emmanuel, I see God Lives, I see Michael Abuaje, and a couple of other guys, and Belinda, Edin, Richard, Peter, Nancy, and Ruby, Sakina, Nelson. Thank you for connecting. We need to start. We will not use the African time here. So my name is David Addo-Yobo, and I work with Aguinaldo Ghana Recruitment Agency. Aguinaldo Ghana Recruitment Agency. And Aguinaldo Ghana in the past years had been recruiting nurses, registered nurses, nursing assistants to the United States. We recently started the recruitment of physical therapists, physiotherapy for the US. So you may be part of our first batch to be recruited to the US. This afternoon, what I'm going to do is short 25, 26 slides of PowerPoint presentation that explains the program. After that, open the floor. If you have any question, you can ask. But as I go along, if you have any question, you can post it in the Zoom chat. We'll do our best to answer all of them. All right. So a bit about Aguinaldo Ghana Recruitment Agency Limited. Now, Aguinaldo Ghana Recruitment Agency, we are a licensed and incorporated in Ghana with license number PE 0001371. We are licensed to recruit and export workers from Ghana to abroad. We are very new in Ghana. We began our operations in Ghana in December 2023. In fact, that is when we officially registered and licensed. We're licensed somewhere in October. And in December, we officially started operations in Ghana. But around the world, we are not new. We are a member of the Aguinaldo Recruitment Agency Group that is headquartered in Manila in the Philippines. We also have a sister company in Liberia. And all the Aguinaldo recruitment agencies around the world, we all recruit workers exclusively for an organization in the United States called United Methodist Healthcare Recruitment Services, which is based in Chicago in the United States. A bit about United Methodist. Now, United Methodist Healthcare Recruitment Services is registered in the US as for a non-profit organization. In other words, profit is not the goal of United Methodist, it's service. And since 2005, it's about 19 years ago, United Methodist have provided many qualified healthcare workers to not-for-profit organizations in the US since 2005. United Methodist Healthcare Recruitment Services, we simply call it UMHR, started as a source of nurses for Chicago Methodist Senior Services. That is another organization. I'll talk briefly about it shortly. And its skilled nursing and rehabilitation services, but has since expanded to help other non-profits with their staffing needs. Let me explain a bit of that. So United Methodist Healthcare Recruitment Services, so the recruitment services, started in 2005 to recruit for just one organization, Chicago Methodist Senior Services. Now, Chicago Methodist today is a 125-year-old nursing home in Chicago. 125 years nursing home in Chicago. They provide rehabilitation, they provide skilled nursing, and 5 areas of nursing services for the older adults in the Chicago area, in Illinois State. And over the years, they realized they need, but it's a huge organization, a 125-year-old organization, you can imagine. It's a household name when you get to Chicago. You ask anybody, Chicago Methodist. In fact, the popular name is Wesley Place because it initially started with the United Methodist Church as a service organization for the United Methodist Church. Now it is independent of the church, but it still bears the name of the church, United Methodist Church. But now it's a non-denominational, non-sectarian organization. Now, when United Methodist started to recruit nursing and skilled professionals, including physical therapists, for this nursing home, the managers and the directors quickly saw the urgent need for other similar non-for-profit, normally mostly church-based nursing homes and hospitals. Today, United Methodist Recruitment Services have facilities that they recruit workers for. They have 70 facilities, huge facilities. One facility can be the size of University of Ghana campus, KNUST campus. If you have ever been there, then you know the size. It's one nursing home. You cannot walk from one end to the other. There are buses that go around 24/7, the campus. So, and you can see the name United Methodist, so it's a non-for-profit organization. We have 70 of such facilities we are serving in the US across 20 states. Across 20 states, Connecticut, Nebraska, Illinois, New York, Washington, and so on and so forth. Now, United Methodist Healthcare Recruitment Services has partnered with respected recruitment businesses in the Philippines and Africa. And these businesses are Aguinaldo Recruitment Company in the Philippines and Aguinaldo Recruitment Company in Ghana and in Liberia. So the staff of United Methodist travel throughout the year to the Philippines and Africa to conduct interviews for candidates and ensure smooth operation of the recruitment process. 2023, we had the CEO, of course, the last 3 years, we have the CEO of United Methodist visiting Ghana all the time, conducting interviews of our nurses, and then selecting to ensure we have the right candidate for the job in the US. So if you visit United Methodist Healthcare Recruitment website, you will see one of the pages, you see the Aguinaldo Ghana logo. When you click on it, it will take you to our website. And then Aguinaldo Philippines, when you click on it, it will take you to the Aguinaldo Recruitment Agency in the Philippines. Now, Chicago Methodist Senior Services, just a brief. Across Chicagoland, Chicago Methodist Senior Services, CMSS, provides an array of programs and services to help the older adults thrive. In the US, the culture is, okay, in Africa, our culture is, and it's the same in the Philippines, our culture is when we are aging, when we age, we go to live with our family. So most of us have our mothers or our grandmothers living with us until eventually they pass on. But in the United States and in the bigger economies of the world, the advanced countries, especially in Europe, that is not the case. Older adults want to live independent life, and they don't want to be a burden on their children or their family. So as they grow and they are working, they begin to save towards retirement. So there's a complete industry of retirement home, care home for the aged, for the adult. And some of these retirement homes also double as a recovery or a nursing home for even acute care. Some of them also doubled as hospice, where end of life, you go to live there until you pass on when the doctor had decided that you have about 6 months to live this earth. So people save, that's the culture, save towards retirement. And it is in this environment, one of the biggest, one of the oldest Chicago Methodist Senior Services is what they do in Chicago. In the heart of Andersonville. Andersonville is a suburb of Chicago. They offer assisted living, memory care, and affordable senior housing services. In the northern suburbs and across Chicago, provide personalized home care and a friendly visitor volunteer program, Senior Connection. Now, this Senior Connection is relatively a new program introduced, not quite too long. And it has a lot of studies shows that in the US and in the industrialized world, people tend to live independently, and sometimes they feel very lonely. And so they introduced these Senior Connections where lonely older adults come together to undertake activities that is fun, so that you don't just sit in your room alone all day. That exacerbates the aging process and leads to health problems. Okay. Now, Aguinaldo, since we commenced our operations, have filed for a permanent labor certification for 82 CNAs. CNAs are certified nurse assistants, plus a little over 120 in the process of being filed with the U.S. Department of Labor. So when we recruit CNAs, they go through a course, a training course online to prepare them to write an exams. When they pass that exams, we use the certificate plus a lot more information from the applicant to start the filing process, the green card filing process. For CNAs, the first filing we do for them is called permanent labor certification. And you do this filing with the United States Government Department of Labor. So far, we have filed for 82. When you file, there's a confirmation. The applicants receive confirmation of the filing from the Department of Labor, that is the US government. And they get a case number with which they use to monitor the progress of their filing online 24/7. So you will know that, yes, your document is here, it has gone there, it's in the process, it has reached here, as and when the process is going on. Then after the permanent labor certification is received, we use that plus other documents to now file the green card EB3 visa for the applicant with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Center, USCIS. Now, we have a little over 200 CNAs currently going through the process of completing the CNA course and towards the CNA licensure exams. Now, we estimate that by the end of 2026, it's about next year or 2 years from now, we expect about 50 CNAs to have received all the documents, including their visas, to fly from Ghana and go to the US under the program. So they would have received their green card, their permanent labor certification, or PEM for short, their green card, their visas, and then they fly from Ghana and they go. Now, as part of the recruitment, we also file for the green card of the applicant's dependents. So the dependents here are the applicant's legally married spouse and all the children of the applicant, even if there are 10 of them. Each of them receive the same green cards as the applicant, and they go to live permanently in the United States. Now, after 2026, we expect to deploy 100 CNAs annually afterwards. So we are here to stay. That is why we have registered with the government of Ghana, and we have secured a license to do this. Now, the second category of nurses we recruit are the registered nurses. Here, the registered nurses, we recruit registered general nurses, nurses that had gone to training college with a diploma in registered general nursing or have completed a bachelor's, either as a top-up or a full four-year degree program, so that they have the Bachelor of Science in Nursing. They will prepare to write the U.S. nursing licensure exams called NCLEX. We started preparing 50 RNs for the U.S. licensure exams. As of September last year, we saw 9 of them to be ready to pass the NCLEX. We have a training system, an algorithm we use, so that as you are on the training, we track your performance, a series of tests, series of exams you take, so that when you are ready to pass the exams, we know. And immediately we schedule you go to take the exams. And I'm happy to say, when we presented those 9 applicants, we flew them to Manila, where our headquarters is. They stayed there for 2.5 months. They lived there for 2.5 months. provided them accommodation, feeding. They had a cook for them 24, Monday to Sunday, so that when they wake up, the family is not there, their family is not there, their children are not there, work is not there, they concentrate. That's the final preparation. And then we scheduled them. Manila is an exam center for the NCLEX. And they took the NCLEX there, and they all passed 100%. At the first sitting, not a single person failed the NCLEX exams. We returned to Ghana on 3rd December, just last Tuesday, with them. We are currently in the process of preparing 17 RNs to be flown to Manila. They should be there by March 2025. They are also going to live there for at least 2 months, prepare them final preparation. They take the NCLEX there, and then they come back. Once they come as RNs, so once they take the NCLEX and they pass, they become United States registered nurses, that's USRN. And then we file for their green card, then the process continues. They go to the US with their dependents. Now, a bit about the NCLEX program, because it's almost similar to the physical therapy or the physiotherapy recruitment program. The NCLEX starts with a credentials evaluation. Credential evaluation essentially compares your certificate and then your license you hold in Ghana to that in the US to see if your license and your certificate is comparable to that in the US. When it is comparable, you'll be granted the authorization to take the NCLEX. If it is not comparable, you'll be told which courses are missing, which credit hours are missing. And you take those courses, and then when you get those additional credit hours, you submit it. And then the evaluation is done, you get the approval. There is a gamut of credential evaluation companies in the US that do credential evaluation. They will evaluate your school transcripts. So there are documents they'll give you, take you to your school, for your school to validate your transcript. And then your license. The case of nurses, they take it to Ghana's NMC for validation to be done. And then once the validation is done and everything is good, you get a report. You use that report to apply with the State Board of Nursing where you want to go and work in the US. For our agency, we use the New Mexico Board of Nursing, because with them, when you pass the NCLEX, as soon as the results come, a day or two later, you get your license, you get your certificate, and you get your PIN number whilst you are outside the US. Other states, most of the other states, when you pass the NCLEX, you need to wait. When you get to the US, you get a social security number, the US social security number, before you get your license, your PIN, and your certificate. So we use the New Mexico Board of Nursing. So once the credential evaluation is finished, we do the application with New Mexico Board of Nursing. We'll also continue to do a Pearson VUE application. The NCLEX exams is owned by NCSBN, the national, as a body in the US that owns the NCLEX, but the exams is administered through Pearson VUE. So you need to also register with Pearson VUE until you get the authorization to test. Once we get the authorization to test, we'll fly the applicants to Manila for the final phase of the training, the course, and then they take the exams there. Okay. Now, once they pass the final CNA exams and all the NCLEX will file for their permanent labor certification and then later the EB3 visa. They later are scheduled for their visa interviews with the U.S. Embassy in Accra, and then they are deployed. They take one more exams, the IELTS, English Language Proficiency Exams, IELTS, administered by the British Council. They also take the exams. We need that exams result to get them a document from the U.S. State Department called Visa Screen Certificate. Once you have the Visa Screen Certificate, you are guaranteed 90%, 95% to get your visa to go. That's a picture of our nurses returning from Manila triumphant as United States registered nurses. Okay. There's a picture of them with myself in Doha when we were transiting. We used Qatar Airways. This is Manila. This is in Manila. And this is when they were preparing, I think a week to their exams. We took this picture. You can feel the tension and the pressure on their faces. But God being so good, they all took the exams and they all passed the NCLEX. Okay, now let's talk about you, physical therapist. And I said I intentionally talk a little bit about the nurses because the process is similar to you. We are looking for licensed, U.S. licensed physical therapists or physiotherapists to recruit. Let me say that again. We are looking for U.S. licensed physiotherapists to recruit, to work in the U.S. Now, in Ghana, we know it will be nearly impossible to get such candidates. If we have those candidates now, if you are one of them, all you need to present is your license, your U.S. license, and a few documents. We file H-1B visa for you. Within 6 months, you get your visa and you fly to the U.S. to work as a licensed PT. Now, but if you do not have the U.S. license, it means we need to take you through a process to get a U.S. license. And the process is similar to that of the nurses. There's the credential. Okay, so practicing in the U.S. as a non-U.S. candidate like you, if you are educated outside the United States and you like to work as a physical therapist or physiotherapy or physical therapy assistant in the United States, you must possess two things. One, permission to work in the United States, and that permission comes from the United States Immigration, USCIS, and is by way of the visa you get. And the second one is the physical therapy or physiotherapy or physical therapy assistant license. Okay, so that is the starting point. For you to work in the US from Ghana or train outside the US, you need permission, that's the visa, and then you need a license. Permission to work in the US. Non-citizens seeking admission as a non-immigrant or immigrant, primarily to perform labor as a healthcare worker, other than as a physician, are not admissible to the United States unless they present certification from a USCIS approved credentialing organization verifying that they have met the minimum requirements for education, training, licensure, experience, and English proficiency in their field. This ones I'm reading verbatim from the USCIS website, and that is the web address. Take a screenshot of it, visit there. It's exactly what I'm reading for you. The USCIS, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service. Now, so you need to be approved to have a healthcare worker license or healthcare worker approval, which comes by the way of the visa. And then you need a physical therapy license or physiotherapy license. In order to protect the American public, the US government enforces laws under which non-US citizens can immigrate, live, and work in the United States. This includes those individuals educated outside the United States like you, who wish to work as physical therapists in the United States. To obtain the US physical therapy license, you need to sit and pass the National Physical Therapy exams, which is administered by a body called the Federation of State Board of Physical Therapy, FSBPT. Okay. To take the MPTE, there are steps you need to go through to get registered. And for non-US candidates like you, there's the first step of credential evaluation. There are about 3 credential evaluation on top of my head that do credential evaluation for physical therapists. So we have CGFNS, we have FCCPT, and then one other. But we use FCCPT for a good reason. We also use CGFNS, but we only use that for credential evaluation for our nurses for their NCLEX exams. And when it comes to physiotherapy, for the 19 years that Aguinaldo have been recruiting physical therapists from the Philippines and around the world to the US. And for the first time doing it in Ghana, we will be using FCCPT for credential evaluation for you. One of the good reasons for using them is once your credential evaluation is done, they keep your document forever for you. With CGFNS, you need to pay. Okay, with FCCPT, they keep your document for you at no extra cost forever. But for CGFNS, you need to pay to have them retain your document for you. It doesn't come free. And there's a good reason why you need to retain your document. When you get to the US, let's say you get to the US, when you first go to the US on the program, you will first go to Chicago, Illinois. So your jurisprudence will be with Illinois State. But there may be a time where you may want to transfer or move to another state, say New York or Washington. You will need to transfer your license. And with other credential evaluation company, you are now going to pay to retrieve your document and your certificates and everything, credential evaluation, and transfer it to that new state. But with FCCPT, it comes at no extra charge. Okay. What is the purpose of the credential evaluation? A credential evaluation report compares your academic accomplishment to the standards in the United States or Canada. The report helps schools, employers, licensing bodies, and immigration authorities better understands the education you have received. For PTs, FCCPT is one of the companies that is recognized to do credential evaluation. It involves comparing your PT training to that in the US to ensure that they are substantially equivalent to that in the US. So your bachelor's degree in physical therapy, your transcript, license will be submitted to this body. They do credential evaluation. It need not be exactly comparable, but if they deem it to be substantially equivalent to that in the US, you'll be given the all clear to go ahead to register with the MPTE and then schedule the prometric exams and take your exam. There are a few other things you will do along the line, but generally speaking, that is it. Now, when it comes to CPT evaluation, there have different service. What we perceive for you is type 1 for licensure requirement. And to apply for the type 1 licensure review, you must have the following. 1, you must have a bachelor's degree or higher in physical therapy. A bachelor's degree or higher in physical therapy. 2, you must be eligible to practice physical therapy in the country of education where the first professional degree was obtained. So in this case, Ghana, you must be eligible to practice physiotherapy in Ghana, i.e., you must have a license. And 3, you must pass the TOEFL or qualify for TOEFL exemption. Unfortunately, Ghana does not qualify for TOEFL exemption, so you need to take the TOEFL exam. Whilst nurses are taking the IELTS exams, you physical therapists will be taking the TOEFL English proficiency exams. It's similar to the IELTS. It's the same 4 areas: speaking, reading, writing, and listening tests. Okay. Okay, so federal regulation require the following minimum passing score for internet-based TOEFL and do not permit the substitution of other examination for TOEFL. Yes, I wanted to stress this because a couple of you have gotten in touch and said, oh, what proficiency exams are we taking? Is it IELTS? No, you are not taking IELTS, you take TOEFL. You cannot use IELTS to substitute TOEFL. Now, if you have a TOEFL results right now, it is okay, so long as it is not more than 2 years old or will not expire whilst your process is going on. It needs to be active and ready, unexpired. The TOEFL test course that is required, a composite of reading comprehension, reading comprehension, listening comprehension, and writing. So reading, listening, writing, 63, and then speaking, 26. You put it together, it's about 89 out of 120. Once you get that score, you are good to go. Now, in terms of the FCCPT credential evaluation, if you go to their website, you will see the detailed cost there, but the one that will be applicable to you includes comprehensive credential evaluation for type 1 review, comes with $1,340. These are figures on their website. You can check it. We do expedited USCIS status letter, $115. The USCIS letter itself, $55. And a credit card chargeback fee. We use credit card for payment. Okay, I see somebody. Please, can I get access to the recording? My network is really unstable. Oh, yes. We have recorded them. We will share them with you. after the presentation, we will share the recording on the WhatsApp page where you are. This evening, you'll get it. Okay. So in terms of credential evaluation, these are the costs. Then after the credential evaluation, next is to select your jurisdiction where you're going to practice physical therapies. And for us, it will be the Illinois state. And then there's registration that we need to do with Illinois state, the FSBBT. That's the Federation of State Board of Physical Therapy. It's a process we go through until we get you scheduled for the exams. The exams is administered 4 times in a year. The exams is administered 4 times. And for physical therapies, your exams is not administered anywhere else outside the United States and Canada. So we need to physically fly you to a United States territory. We prefer Chicago because United Methodist is there. There's housing, there's everything there that can house you. But sometimes experience is a good teacher. The question that pops in my mind, and a lot of my people, is, hey, so if you fly a Ghanaian to go and take a physical therapy exams in Chicago, when he fails, do you think he will come back? He will disappear. And that will be a bad record on us. But we have system in place to check that. So for you physical therapists, at the end of your credential evaluation and scheduling you with the MPTE exams, for the MPTE exams, we'll physically fly you from Ghana first to Manila, our home base, our headquarters. You will be there for a minimum of 1 month of final preparation and final training and final coaching. And from there, we'll fly you from Manila, the Philippines, to a US territory where you sit the NPT exams. Once you pass, we come back. Even when you fail, we want you to stay there and retake it until you pass. And then we'll come back, we'll all come back to Ghana as US PTs, licensed PTs. Then we'll file for your H-1B visa. 6 months after passing, you have your visa, and then you finally fly back to the US, this time for good, to practice as a physiotherapist. The links you see are YouTube videos on the official FSBPT website on information about restoration and physical therapies. Now, your cost, how much is it going to cost you? For all those on the page, I'm sure you got there by receiving an email. And the email on the cost part just bulk some figures. This is an idea of how much it costs. The credential evaluation, about 1,700 when you put everything together, plus the registration for the exams with FSBPT, the Prometric Center, comes to about $2,000. You'll also be required to do medical examination. Oh, and then as part of the exams registration, there's even fingerprinting. You need to do fingerprinting as part of the background check to ensure that you don't have any criminal record. This is a requirement of the United States government, not ours. You do medical examination to ensure that you do not have any ill health that will bar you from getting the visa. So as for the medical examination, it's among the first thing you'll be doing. We do medical examination. We have SynLab Ghana. SynLab Ghana used to be called MedLab Ghana. There will be an interview. Once you pass the interview, you go, we'll give you letters, you go to SynLab, you do the medicals. There are a series of tests, HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, diabetes screening, drug screening, syphilis, a couple of them. You go through that. Now, if you test positive and you are on management, it is good you'll be allowed to be on the program, as if you prove that you are on care by your doctor. Or if you go on management after you test positive, sometimes people have hepatitis B, they don't know. People have hepatitis C, they don't know. Hepatitis B can be with you when it's non-reactive. Until you test, you will not know. It is when it is reactive, then it becomes dangerous. So you do the medical exams. Once you pass, there will be an employment contract. We'll give you an employment contract with United Methodist Healthcare Recruitment Services. And the contract spells out all the condition of service. But I've said most of them, apart from your salary, which the salary will be exactly the same salary, we call them prevailing wage in the US, the state where you are going to work. So you'll be getting the same salary as United States citizen. But that's by law. There can be no differentiation between you and a US citizen. Then you're going to go on a course. So after the medical exams, when everything is clear, you start your course. 16 weeks training online, 16 weeks training online, 6 weeks training online. Whilst that is going on, we also do the credential evaluation concurrently. Then we appoint where you do TOEFL training and the exams. We fly you to the Philippines for final coaching. $2,000 is the air ticket, return ticket to the Philippines. Accommodation and feeding, $1,000 it's going to be more than that actually, but we will bear major part of the cost for you. Then examination in the US, there's a Reliance program. When you pass, we'll put you on. It's for your CPD. So the total cost comes to about $10,000, but we know Ghana, Africa, that money does not exist. Just a few individuals will have that. So to make it easy for a lot more people to be hired on the program, you are only paying half, which is $5,000. And even this half, you are going to pay it bit by bit, small, at your convenience. At your convenience means today you get 1 CD, you pay. You get 10 CDs, you pay. Small, until you get to the point where it gets to the $5,000. The other half, when you get to the US, you pay us the other $5,000. So $5,000 here in Ghana, it includes everything. You get everything: the credential evaluation, the training, the books, the TOEFL, the exams, air tickets from Ghana to the Philippines, to the US and back, and then back to the US. Finally, when you get your visa application, everything. Plus, when you arrive in the US, you have passed the exams, you have your license, you have your H-1B visa, you fly to the US. The first 2 months in the US, we provide free housing for you. You get free housing the first 2 months in the US. During these 2 months, you'll be going through orientation. You'll be doing your social security, because without social security number, you cannot work in the US legally. And you'll be going through all this. Now, we'll provide support for groceries. Go to the market, get a few things to cook for yourself. And then we'll also support you for transportation to move around, to go to the groceries, to visit places you want to go. So the first 2 months, we take care of you. When we add that up, it's over $30,000. Now, the cost of the program for you is over $30,000. We'll do another presentation where we'll show you the detailed cost, but that will come after you have passed your interview. Now, the next question is, how do you pay us back that big amount? Remember, from the beginning, I took my time to explain that we are a not-for-profit organization in the US. It is your service we want, not your money. So when you go through our process, you pay just the $5,000 to get you the nursery license and all those things here. Because without those documents, we cannot get you your visa. Once you get that visa, you get to the US. I'm going to use the Ghana term. The US, they say you will serve a contract for 3 years. In Ghana, you say you'll be bonded for 3 years. So that 3 years, you're going to work for our company, our nursing home, or our hospital. We reserve the right to post you where we want you to be. So you will not have a choice as to, oh, for me, I want to work in a hospital or a nursing home. No, we reserve that right. And then we also reserve the right to send you to a state where we think you are needed. So you cannot come and tell me, oh, my mother is in New York State, so please send me to New York State. No. We have learned over the years bitterly that arrangement never works. It always ends badly. So we reserve the right to send you to a state we know will work. But once you finish your contract, you can move to a different state if you want. Once you finish the contract, and if you want to continue working with us, you're a free agent. If you want to move on to do other things in the US, hey, you're in the US anyway. So you can do everything. Now, during the contract period, you are going to earn your salary in full. There will be no salary deductions. We don't do salary deductions. So the only part of the fees you pay us when you get to the US is that $5,000 you're supposed to pay here, you couldn't pay. But if you pay us all the $10,000 here when you get to the US, you owe us nothing. You get your salary in full. There will be no salary deduction. It is the service you want. Once you do your contract for 3 years, you are served as more than enough. We gain a lot more from your service than when you pay us $30,000 back. Okay. Next steps, what do we need from you? You have heard a lot of things this afternoon about the entire physical therapy recruitment program. I will soon be opening the floor for you to ask questions. But if you are interested, these are the documents we need from you. Please take a picture of it, take a screenshot of it. We will need your bachelor's certificate. We will need your license, and in Ghana, we know it's Allied Health Authority, transcript of academic record, passport, birth certificate, or WASI. We have received a couple of applications that are Ghanaians who were trained outside Ghana. There's one we received, he was trained in Cuba, and then one was trained in another country. So if you are not in Ghana, we just need, if you are not trained in Ghana, once you are trained outside the United States, we will need a license from the country where you were trained. But if you have Ghana license, perfect. So your transcript of academic record, your passport, your birth certificate. The birth certificate, if you're in Ghana, it must be the biometric birth certificate and WASI certificate. At this stage, we will not need, there are some documents we will require later on down the line, but there will be time for you the birth certificate of your spouse, if you are married, the birth certificate of your children, if you have children, your legally children, not your abawa. Okay, so the children, because part of the interview, the visa interview, do DNA tests to confirm that the children you're traveling with are yours. And then your marriage certificate, legally marriage certificate. If you don't have a marriage certificate, we cannot help you. So please don't come and say, oh, we did if you are warrior and we don't have certificate for it. If you want to travel with that person, your spouse, please go legalize it and get a legal marriage certificate. All right. I think I've been talking a lot for the last 1 hour. So after the documents are received, there will be an interview. We schedule you for an interview. We are going to guide you and prep you for the interview. And then once you pass the interview, we'll give you letters. You go to SimLab, MedLab Ghana. You go and do your medicals, and then the process starts. Potential evaluation starts immediately. And then we'll also have to start working on visa appointment, because you'll be traveling to a U.S. territory. These days, when you want an appointment at the U.S. Embassy, it takes about 12 months. So we need to plan ahead. Okay, we'll get appointment for the visa interview way ahead. It's going to take about 1 year to do the credential evaluation, exam scheduling, and everything, so that you are ready for the exam. 1 year. All things being equal. That is, money is ready, that is ready, that is ready, that is ready. But there will be delays here and there. And it also depends on you. Some will have nurses, for example. I use nurses as an example. They will come firing. We are ready to go. Then when the call starts, oh, today my child is sick. Tomorrow I have a funeral. All those things work in delaying your own process. But if we're able to go according to schedule in 1 year, by December 2025, you may have written the MPTE exams, and then we'll file for you. By June 2026, you are in the US. Questions? You now have the floor to ask any question. Do you have any question, any concern, any comment, please? Does anybody have any question? Hey, can you guys hear me? Okay, Stephanie says yes. Stephanie, please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Stephanie.
Yes, my network kept cutting in between the presentation.
We have
but
done
I think yes. So can you please, in maybe summary, go over the process again in summary, and please go over the steps.
Oh my God, this one is like school.
Just the one sentence.
You understand that they say the whole show.
All right.
This one there, the whole show. Okay, so let me wrap it up. We are looking for US licensed physiotherapists to recruit for jobs today. Now, if you have it, within 6 months, you'll be in the US. We'll file for H-1B visa for you, you go. But if you don't have it, you need to go through a process to get that license. And the process will start with medical examination, then credential evaluation, and then we schedule you for the exams. But you're going to go through a rigorous rigorous and vigorous 16 weeks training course online. It is online, so wherever you are, it doesn't matter. You'll get trained. At the end of that course, we will fly you. When we know you are ready to pass the NPT, we will fly you to the Philippines. You're going to stay there for a minimum of 1 month, 2 months, for final coaching, final review. And then when we think you are ready, we'll fly you from Philippines to a US, United States territory, Chicago, preferably, for you to take the NPT exams, the licensure exams. Once you pass, you come back to Ghana, you file for your H-1B visa, and then you go. And Stephanie, thank you for that question. There's something I forgot to mention. Maybe we'll say it along the line, but when you go, somebody will ask me, so when I go, when would my family join me? When you go, after 6 months, your family will join you. And we are going to do their visas, booking, everything, going to help them until they get and join you in the US. Stephanie, in a nutshell.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, come here.
Richard, I think the meeting was recorded. She can go over. Oh, yes, Richard, the meeting was recorded and she can go over. Do we have any other question, please?
Come and take.
Was somebody saying something? Guys, don't feel shy. You have a question, ask me now. Otherwise.
Come and take. Hey.
Hello.
Yes, Kenneth.
Okay.
Okay, Kenneth before Ruby. Kenneth, you have the floor after you.
Come on.
Okay. Sorry, it looks like my environment is noisy. I'm outside. So, like you said, I think I didn't join early, I joined later. And like you rightly said, in Ghana, $10,000 is no money. Neither is $5,000. So, and in recent times, there have been a lot of issues of people who haven't tried traveling abroad through agencies, and there's been a lot of issues afterwards. Some even get stuck. And so, how then can we also feel secure working with you? Because it looks like everything you have said is everything is in order. There's a process to everything. And it looks like we are rather getting help more than we helping you in any form. So, how secure are we working with you? Maybe that's my question.
Sorry, what is the question? How secured are you working with us? Is that the question?
Yes, going through all the process. I mean, regarding the fact that there's money involved and everything. In recent times, I mean, the money you mentioned, it's not small money, like you said, it's huge money. And so it means that some people will probably have to use their last to try out. So in the end, as an agency, how secure can we trust you that you can also help us like within the work?
Well, for you are lucky. This is not the first time we have been here. So there are people on our program. There are references you can speak with independently, privately. And there are a number of you here who are here because of recommendations from others like that. We are also licensed. We are also licensed and registered here in Ghana. That is a legal requirement by the state of Ghana. Okay, so the rest is you and God. Pray over it. If you feel this is the right place for you. Oh, yes. That's a beautiful question. There's some children. There's some children
Ah,
talking.
okay. Some.
Can you please mute your microphone?
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Right now.
Eldin. Eldin. Eldin.
No.
Let me mute his microphone. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so somebody has posted a question in the chat. Where's your office location? We are located in Kumasi, Jubilee, the second floor, Jubilee Mall, commercial area, KNUST main campus. We are here. And then there's another question. Please, is a non-licensed PT eligible for this application? Okay, it depends. If you have just graduated and you are just waiting for your license, and your license will come in a couple of days or in a couple of months, yes, you can apply whilst awaiting your license, because there are a lot of processes you're going to go through. But if you have lost your license has been revoked, and you are a non-licensed person, then no, you cannot apply. So maybe if you can send me further and better particulars, I'll be able to answer more directly. Okay, then K says, what will determine that one is ready and will fly after the 16 weeks program? That's a beautiful question. And when I was presenting, I explained there are a series of tests you will be taking as the course is ongoing. There are weekly tests. Now, like I said, it's a vigorous program. Vigorous. For every week, you do 3 tests. One on Monday morning, one on Wednesday, one on Friday, every week. And then there will be at the end of the month tests, at the end of the program tests. Then we have what we call predictor exams. Once you need to pass the predictor exams consistently. Once you pass, then we know you are ready to fly. Okay, have I answered your question? Then Helen of Yeboah says, what if I read a health program, but it is not under allied health, which does not give a license? Can one still participate? Can you give me an example? What is that? I wish we can talk specifics. Okay, you are welcome. Helen, what is the specific program you are talking about? If I know the program, I'll be able to answer properly. But in the broader sense, Ruby, I know you are waiting for me. I have not forgotten about you at all, Ruby. But in the broader sense of the word, these are the things we will need for your credential evaluation. You must have a bachelor's degree or higher in physical therapy, and you must be eligible to practice. That is the key word. Having a license, or you are eligible to practice in your country, in Ghana. Okay. So those are and then you must pass the TOEFL. And then a couple of follow-up questions. So please, are there any recommendations recommendations on where and how to take courses that the credential phase may require? So we are going to train you, if I understood your question correctly, Michael. The fees you are paying entitles you for us to train you and prepare you for the exam. Oh, Helen, yes, BSc Disability and Rehabilitation Study and Public Health. Yes, Helen. That is a good degree. It's a beautiful degree. We want it, okay? Now you are talking specific. Then Stella Asamoah, please, the interview before the labs, will it be face-to-face or via Zoom? Oh, that's a beautiful question. Now, every year we have our CEO flying from the US to come and do the interview. We are arranging for her to come, but whatever, if she's not able to come to Ghana, we sometimes do the interview via Zoom. But we are going to prep all of you. There's a whole orientation you go through, how to answer the questions, how to present yourself. It is our responsibility to prepare you for that interview. Okay. Then Kay, please, is your money refundable if at some point you fail? Oh, Kay, let's go back to the money. And Kay, thank you for that question. My dear brothers and sisters, listen to my answer. On your screen, you see credential evaluation exams registration. These are fees we pay to FCCPT. Medical examination, these are fees we pay to SENLA. Coaching and review, these are fees we pay to a third party to train you. TOEFL, it goes to a third party. Accommodation, feeding, flight, examination in the US, these are fees that goes to third parties. So, I want to caution you, if at any point in time you have any doubt, please do not start the program, because for whatever reason, the fees you pay are non-refundable. We are not going to refund any fee to you. So be very clear in your mind, this is what you want to do, and follow suit. Thank you, Michael, for that question. Okay, so I think Michael is back with another question. Please, are there any recommendations? Okay, so she's trying to explain. Please, I mean courses that may have not been included in my bachelor's training. Oh, okay. So yes. In fact, Michael, if I understand your question, maybe you did your bachelor's training and there are some courses that are not part of it. The credential evaluation report will bring it up, and the credential evaluation report will point to those specific courses that you must take. When that point comes, we may have solution. We have partner universities in the Philippines that provide some of this top-up gap course, so that you'll be able to top it up to meet the credential evaluation requirement so that you can go ahead. Michael, you're welcome. Okay, so please, just for clarification and as follow up to Helen's question, are you saying one with a BSc in disability and rehab can participate without having a bachelor's in physiotherapy? You need to have the bachelor in physiotherapy, please. You need to have a bachelor's. Look at it, it's there. Let's go back to the credential evaluation certification. A bachelor's degree or higher in physical therapy. Now, the rehabilitation course, I need to see the transcript so that I'll be able to advise strongly on the, sometimes it's just the naming of the course. Like in KNUST here, they call their physiotherapy program something, and sports science. Okay, something and sports science. So the name may not be physiotherapy, all right, but the content may be it. All right. I believe we have exhausted all our points. I want to thank all of you for coming today. If you are interested, please do not hesitate to send this document to the email address. Take a screenshot of it again. Once you get your document, bachelor's degree, license, transcript, passport, birth certificate, and YC. If your passport is not ready yet, still send. We'll start the interview. There will be time for you to do the passport. And but the critical documents are your license, your transcript license, and the certificate. The rest you can take your time and get it. On that note, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and we are glad you joined us today. Good evening to you all and goodbye.